every man, at some point in his life, asks himself a quiet question he never admits out loud. Why did she choose him and not me? Not because the other man is better looking, not because he's richer, not because he tries harder, but because he carries something you can't see, something she feels long before she understands it. Women don't choose the man who gives them the most attention. They choose the man whose presence hits them in a way the others don't. The man who doesn't chase her, but doesn't fear losing her either. The man who walks with a type of calm energy that her instincts recognize instantly, because attraction, at its core, is not a reaction. It is a recognition. She doesn't fall for the words you say. She falls for the energy behind them. She doesn't fall for the attention you give. She falls for the emotional impact you create without trying. She doesn't fall for performance. She falls for presence. And here's the truth. Most men never learn. A woman doesn't choose the man who makes her feel excited. She chooses the man who makes her feel safe, while still making her slightly nervous. That rare paradox, stability with mystery, calmness with tension, is what separates the unforgettable man from the invisible one. So in this video, we're going to break open the real psychology behind her choice, why she gravitates towards certain men, why your intentions matter less than your energy, and why the man who tries the least but means the most becomes the one she picks over every other option. If you understand what I'm about to share, you will never look at attraction the same way again. Because the truth isn't hidden, it's silent. And once you learn to speak that silent language, women feel it instantly. Every man grows up believing a lie. Acquiescently. Apolitely. A socially acceptable lie, but still a lie. We're taught that women choose the man who tries the hardest, the one who shows more effort, more interest, more consistency, more care. We're told that if you're a good man, respectful, attentive, sincere, she'll see your worth and pick you over the rest. But the harsh truth is this: women don't choose the man who tries the most. They choose the man who awakens the most emotion, not surface-level feelings like he's nice, he's funny, or he's good. Not polite affection or casual attraction. What pulls a woman in, what grips her mind, what imprints on her heart, is something primal. A sense of safety, a sense of mystery, a sense of challenge, a sense of being seen, a sense of being moved. It's not her preference. It's her instinct. Attraction, for women, is not a choice. It's a recognition. She doesn't sit down and logically decide you're the best option. She feels you. She reads you. She responds to the energy you carry before you speak a single word. That's why two men can offer her the same attention, the same kindness, the same stability, yet only one of them makes her heart race, and the other becomes just a friend. The painful insight most men ignore. Men think women reward effort. They don't. They reward presence. Effort is cute. Presence is unforgettable. Effort says, I hope you choose me. Presence says, you'll have to prove why you deserve a place in my life. Guess which one her biology is drawn to? The man she chooses versus the man she forgets. It's rarely about looks. It's rarely about money. It's rarely about lines, gestures, or charm. Women don't fall for the man who performs the most. They fall for the man whose energy hits differently. Calm, but grounded. Confident, but not arrogant. Mysterious, but not unstable. Detached, but not cold. Challenging, but still safe. He's the one she can't shake from her mind, not because he's perfect, but because his presence forces her emotions to rise. That's the biological blueprint few men ever understand. Why women choose with instinct, not logic. Women see the world through emotional radar, a radar far more sensitive than men realize. Before you say a word, she's already reading your posture, your breath, your micro-expressions, your tone, your emotional stability, the rhythm of how you carry yourself. Her nervous system scans you for one thing. Does this man's presence feel regulated or chaotic? Because deep attraction doesn't begin with beauty, status, or flirtation. It begins with energetic congruence. If your energy is grounded, she relaxes. If your energy is uncertain, she retreats. If your energy is needy, she loses respect. If your energy is strong but calm, she feels pulled toward you without knowing why. The brutal divide between men who get chosen and men who get ignored. Most men lose not because they're unattractive, but because they give off a weak signal, seeking approval, over-explaining, trying too hard, proving themselves needing a response, chasing validation, fearing rejection. Women don't run from imperfection. They run from instability. And instability is exactly what a man projects when he bases his behavior on her reactions. The man she chooses doesn't react to her energy. He regulates it. That's what creates impact. That's what creates memory. That's what creates imprint. The truth that separates the masculine from the forgettable. There are only two kinds of men in a woman's life. One, the man whose presence makes her feel safe and challenged. Two, the man whose presence makes her feel responsible for his emotions. One becomes unforgettable. The other becomes invisible. And here's the revelation. The first man isn't attractive because he's flawless. He's attractive because he's whole. He knows who he is. He moves with intention. His emotions don't leak into every interaction. He doesn't use effort to win her. He uses alignment. He uses stillness. He uses his sense of self. The second man tries to earn her affection. The first man lets her feel what being with him would be like. And women choose from feeling, not logic. The core message of this chapter: if you want to be the man she picks, remembers, and respects, stop trying to impress her. Instead, strengthen your internal world, master your energy, become comfortable in silence, build emotional steadiness, become the calm in the storm, hold a direction she can sense without being told, because the truth is simple. She doesn't fall for what you do. She falls for what your presence tells her without words. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be aligned. You just have to be grounded. You just have to be whole. That's the kind of man a woman chooses without hesitation and remembers without trying. Before you say a single word to a woman, she already knows who you are. Not consciously, not logically, not through analysis or thought. She knows through something far older, far deeper, the emotional radar embedded in her biology. Men live in a world of words. Women live in a world of signals. And when she meets you, even for a moment. Her senses begin scanning you faster than you could ever imagine. She reads your posture the way a musician reads sheet music. She picks up the cadence of your breathing, the tension in your shoulders, the stillness in your eyes. She listens to your energy before your voice even has a chance to speak. Most men never realize this. They believe attraction begins with charm, humor, looks, or confidence. But long before any of that matters, she has already decided something essential, whether your presence feels regulated or chaotic, whether your energy pulls her in or unconsciously pushes her away. A woman's intuition is not magic, it's perception. She's trained by evolution to feel what you try to hide. If you're anxious but pretending to be calm, she feels the tremor beneath the surface. If you're performing confidence instead of embodying it, she senses the mismatch instantly. If your words say one thing while your energy tells another story, she trusts the energy every time. You cannot fake the language she listens to. You can only become fluent in it. Women don't just look at a man, they absorb him. They attune to his emotional state through a system of mirror neurons that sync to his level of presence. When your energy is grounded, she relaxes without knowing why. When your energy is scattered, she tenses without understanding the reason. She isn't reacting to your personality, she's reacting to your vibration. That's why the man who's calm without effort becomes magnetic without trying. His stillness carries gravity. His presence feels like a warm silence in a world full of noise. He doesn't have to impress her, because she feels impressed, simply standing near him. He doesn't need lines or gestures. His energy already speaks the language her body understands. There is a reason women describe a man by saying, "He just has something about him." It's never about his words. It's about the alignment between his inner world and outer behavior. When everything about him is congruent, his tone, his breath, his awareness, his rhythm, she senses a rare form of masculine clarity. And that clarity isn't loud. It's still, like a body of water so calm, it reflects everything around it. The men who fail with women aren't necessarily unattractive. They're emotionally unregulated. Their energy is inconsistent. Their presence is scattered. They walk into a conversation trying to impress, trying to be liked, trying to be chosen. And the moment they do, their energy communicates dependency, insecurity, and need. Women don't interpret that consciously. They simply feel it and recoil from it. Contrast that with the man who walks into the same room carrying a different frequency. He isn't rushed. He isn't seeking. He isn't performing. He moves as if he trusts himself. He speaks slowly, not because he's unsure of what to say, but because he has nothing to prove. When she looks into his eyes, she doesn't see hesitation, she sees presence. And presence is the most attractive thing a man can offer. Women don't fall for what they see. They fall for what they sense. Your energy tells her everything she needs to know. If you're grounded, she feels safe. If you're centered, she feels curious. If you're emotionally attuned, she feels seen. And when all of these elements merge, she becomes drawn to you without fully understanding why. That's the beginning of real attraction, not the spark, but the foundation. A woman responds to your energy the way a flower responds to sunlight. When the light is steady, she opens. When the light is inconsistent, she retreats. And here's the truth. Most men never understand she isn't choosing you because of your looks or your words. She's choosing the emotional experience your presence creates inside her. When a man's energy is aligned, when his words match his intention, when his actions match his values, when his presence matches his character, he becomes unforgettable. He becomes the rare man whose calm doesn't push her away but pulls her deeper. She feels both mystery and safety, challenge and comfort, distance and warmth. That paradox is the emotional equation her instincts are built to respond to. And here is the secret that defines the entire chapter. She chooses you long before she consciously realizes she chose you. Because attraction begins in silence, in subtlety, in the quiet language of energy, when your presence is balanced. She doesn't just notice you, she feels you. She remembers the way her body reacted, the way her breath shifted, the way her emotions awakened. And that emotional imprint is what separates the man she moves toward from the man she moves past. A woman may notice many men, but she remembers only one. And the reason has nothing to do with looks, money, or charm. It's emotional impact, the invisible imprint a man leaves on her psychology long after he's gone. Every man triggers attraction, but only a few trigger memory. Most men don't understand this difference. They spend their lives polishing their appearance, perfecting their lines, upgrading their lifestyle, yet their presence evaporates from a woman's mind the moment they walk away. Not because they're inadequate, but because they never touched her emotionally. They stayed on the surface while she lives in the depths. A woman's heart is not moved by what she sees, but by what she feels. Her body may react to beauty, but her mind remembers meaning. The man she chooses, truly chooses, is the one who ignites emotions she cannot control. He doesn't do it by forcing, performing, or pleasing. He does it by bringing a quality of presence that reaches beneath her conscious mind. He is the calm in her storm, the certainty in her doubt, the mystery in her clarity. He awakens something ancient inside her, a sensation she can't suppress, explain, or ignore. While other men aim for her attention, he influences her emotional state. While others chase her feelings, he shifts them. While others perform, he imprints. Most men try to be impressive, but the man she chooses makes her feel impressed without effort. This is why a woman may be physically attracted to several men, but emotionally drawn to only one. Emotional impact is not about intensity or drama. It's about resonance. It's the quiet echo a man leaves behind, the emotional aftertaste that lingers on her thoughts long after the moment ends. It's the way she suddenly remembers his tone while driving, the way his silence resurfaces when she's alone, the way his calmness reappears in her mind when she's overwhelmed. That's imprint. And imprint is what makes one man unforgettable while the rest fade like background noise. A woman evaluates men on 3 levels. Her eyes notice you. Her mind evaluates you. But her emotion decide. If you only stimulate her eyes, you become entertainment. If you stimulate her mind, you become interesting. But if you affect her emotions, you become unforgettable. Men lose because they focus on the first two. They dress well, speak well, act confident, but they never touch her emotionally. The man who creates emotional impact doesn't try harder, he connects deeper. He listens in a way that makes her feel heard without explaining. He speaks in a tone that feels steady, not needy. He looks at her with clarity, not hunger. His presence carries weight because his emotions aren't scattered. His energy isn't anxious. His attention isn't chasing. And that emotional stability makes her feel something rare, safe enough to relax, intrigued enough to stay alert. That duality, calm and tension, safety and excitement, is the core of imprint. Women describe it as, "I don't know why I can't stop thinking about him." But it's not mystery. It's emotional contrast. He's warm, but not too available. Present, but not clinging. Calm, but not cold. Detached, but still attentive. That balance sends her subconscious into overdrive. It breaks the patterns she's used to. It disrupts the emotional scripts she expects from men. Suddenly, she can't predict him, and unpredictability, when paired with emotional safety, becomes addictive. This is the moment where attraction transforms into obsession. Because here's the truth, a woman does not fall for the man who pleases her. She falls for the man who moves her. Looks fade, charm fades, status fades. But the emotional imprint of a man who made her feel deeply that stays. It stays when she dates someone else. It stays when she tries to move on. It stays when she tells her friends she's over him. It stays when she lies to herself. And it's why she chooses one man, often the quiet one, the still one, the grounded one, over the dozens who tried harder, talked louder, or showed more interest. Because emotional impact isn't something you do, it's something you are. It's the residue your presence leaves behind. It's the energy her heart remembers. It's the calm her body trusted. It's the tension her mind couldn't decode. It's the safety she didn't expect. It's the closeness she didn't see coming. In the end, two men can talk to her for the same amount of time. One will feel forgettable. The other will feel unforgettable. The difference wasn't what they said. It was the emotional reality they created inside her. There is a kind of man whose presence changes the entire dynamic the moment he enters the room. He doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't try to dominate. He doesn't perform, posture, or impress. Yet somehow, everyone feels him. Women feel him most of all. Not because he's aggressive, not because he's flashy, but because he carries something the modern world rarely produces: calm, grounded, unshakable confidence. This isn't the confidence loud men pretend to have. It's not the swagger fueled by insecurity, and it's not the bravado that collapses under pressure. It's the kind of confidence that moves slowly, speaks softly, and stands firmly. The kind built from discipline, clarity, and inner peace, not ego. It's the energy that says, I know who I am, I know what I want, and I don't need anything from you to feel complete. To a woman, that energy is magnetic. It's unfamiliar. It's intoxicating. Because most men crumble when emotions enter the room. They react too quickly. They talk too fast. They try too hard. But the man with calm confidence is different. His world doesn't shake just because she does. His attention doesn't rush just because she pulls. His emotions don't tremble just because she tests him. He becomes the white, static, masculine energy that anchors her chaos without smothering it, the quiet strength she didn't know she was craving yet, can't deny when it appears. When a woman meets this type of man, her psychology reacts instantly. Her guard lowers, but her curiosity rises. She feels safe, yet slightly nervous. She can breathe around him, yet she can't predict him. This duality is what makes him unforgettable. Every woman has encountered the extremes, the man who's too cold, making her feel unseen. The man who's too emotional, making her feel unsafe. But the man with calm confidence, he sits perfectly in the middle, grounded, but warm, still, but attentive, detached, but available, present, but never disparity. And because he lives in that rare balance, she begins to fear something she doesn't fear, with other men losing him. Not because he threatens to leave, not because he plays games, but because his peace is valuable, his presence is rare, his self-control is unmatched. She knows that men like him don't come around often, and when they do, they don't stay in places where their energy isn't respected. That fear, subtle but potent, makes her rise to meet his standards. You see, calm confidence isn't passive. It's powerful. It's strategic. It's leadership without dominance. Influence without force. Authority without arrogance. It's the slow burn that outshines every loud spark, because while other men try to corner her with intensity, he captivates her with composure. While others demand attention, he earns it with silence. While others rush to prove themselves, he lets time reveal his value. And that patience is what destabilizes her, not in a chaotic way, but in a deeply emotional way. A calm man makes her question her habits, her patterns, her assumptions. He makes her examine the parts of herself she always hides, not because he asks, but because his energy makes honesty feel natural. And when she tests him, as every woman will, he doesn't react in panic or anger. He remains composed, centered, unmoved. His calmness becomes a mirror for her chaos. It shows her exactly where she stands. It reveals the truth of her intentions. It exposes her emotional games by refusing to participate in them. When he doesn't fold under pressure, she feels something powerful: respect. And a woman cannot fall for a man she does not respect. She may desire a man she doesn't respect. She may use a man she doesn't respect. She may even enjoy a man she doesn't respect. But she cannot choose him. She only chooses the man whose energy she trusts, whose presence she believes in, whose stability she feels in her body before she ever admits it in her mind. Calm confidence is not about being emotionless. It's about being emotionally sovereign. It's the difference between reacting and responding, between needing and choosing, between chasing and leading. When a man reaches this level, women sense it instantly. He becomes the one whose silence carries more weight than another man's shouting, the one whose stillness feels stronger than another man's aggression, the one whose presence lingers long after he's gone, because a woman might be entertained by excitement, but she is transformed by stability, and the man who holds that stability within himself becomes the kind she doesn't just want, he becomes the kind she fears losing. There comes a moment in a man's life when he realizes something most men never understand. The more he needs a woman, the less she wants him, and the less he needs her. The more she feels drawn to him. Not because women want to be ignored, not because they enjoy indifference, but because emotional detachment is the strongest signal of inner stability a man can project, and stability, to a woman's psychology, is irresistible. Detachment isn't coldness. It isn't distance. It isn't pretending not to care. It is the discipline of maintaining your center, even when you feel something. It is the strength of wanting her, but not depending on her. It is the quiet message your energy sends. I choose you, but I don't need you to breathe. That sentence, spoken without words, flips her entire emotional script. Because most men lose themselves the moment they feel connection. Their focus shifts, their confidence wavers, their priorities change, and their sense of power evaporates into neediness. They start texting more often. They become available too quickly. They start adjusting their life to her moods. They trade self-respect for approval without even noticing it. Women feel that shift instantly. They see a man who was once grounded suddenly move off-center. They see the emotional gravity they felt from him begin to collapse. And once it collapses, attraction collapses with it. But the detached man, he is built differently. Even when he likes her, he doesn't chase. Even when she pulls away, he doesn't panic. Even when she tests him, he doesn't lose balance. His world does not shrink to revolve around her. He keeps his mission at the core. He keeps his purpose as his priority. He keeps his emotions on a leash rather than letting them run wild. And that level of emotional discipline makes her feel something she cannot feel with other men, a loss of control. Not in a toxic way, but in a primal, subconscious way. Because deep down, every woman wants to feel chosen, but she also wants to feel she has to earn it. Detachment creates that dynamic. It forces her to rise, to meet your energy. It makes her put in effort. It makes her wonder about you. It makes her pay attention to details she normally ignores. Not because you're manipulating her, but because your stability forces her to reveal her intentions. A detached man isn't controlled by affection. He controls himself through affection. He can enjoy intimacy without losing identity. He can give love without losing boundaries. He can connect deeply while remaining firmly anchored in his own value. Women test all men not to hurt them, but to feel them, to see where their emotional center lies, to see whether they are grounded or easily shaken. And every time she tests a detached man, she runs into a wall of unmovable calm. His silence holds weight. His patience holds power. His lack of reaction forces her to look inward instead of upward. That's when she begins chasing, not because he's playing a game, but because his restraint awakens a part of her psychology that rare men activate, the instinct to pursue the source of emotional stability. She knows millions of men want her, but the detached man is the one she wants because he is unaffected by her beauty, unmoved by her mood swings, and uninterested in performing for her approval. He remains himself with or without her. And that makes her feel something she doesn't feel with any other man: respect. Respect turns into curiosity. Curiosity turns into desire. Desire turns into pursuit. And pursuit turns into loyalty, because a woman might love a man she can control, but she only respects and chooses the man she cannot. Detachment isn't abandonment. It isn't cruelty. It isn't withdrawal. It is the quiet truth a powerful man lives by. My value does not depend on your presence. And when she feels that truth in your energy, she begins to invest in you differently. She becomes more attentive, more feminine, more intentional, more committed. Not because you forced her, but because she felt the difference between a boy who needs her and a man who chooses her. Every woman has a quiet radar built into her psychology, a subconscious system constantly scanning for one thing: safety. Not physical safety, not financial safety, but emotional safety, the kind of stability that lets her guard fall without her realizing it. Most men misunderstand this. They think women choose based on excitement, attraction, or status. But attraction might turn her head. Safety is what turns her heart. You've met this dynamic before. Two men, like the same woman. One is richer, taller, more charismatic, objectively the better choice. Yet she picks the man no one expected. People shake their heads. They blame luck. They blame timing. But the truth is simple. She chose the man whose presence felt emotionally safe to her body. Not logical safety, instinctual safety. A woman's subconscious evaluates a man long before she makes a conscious decision. She watches how he reacts to pressure. She listens to the rhythm of his voice. She studies his pace, his tone, the way he enters a room. Every microsignal tells her one thing: is my nervous system calm around this man, or am I bracing myself? Because if her body is bracing even slightly, she will never fully choose him. A woman cannot surrender to a man she cannot relax around. This is why emotional regulation becomes your greatest weapon. When your reactions steady, her emotions settle. When your energy is predictable, her heart opens. When your boundaries are clear, her trust grows. Women don't bond with men who are reactive. Those men feel dangerous, not in the exciting way, but in the "I have to protect myself" way. A reactive man creates instability without meaning to. His mood shifts. His tone sharpens. His energy rises and falls based on hers. And when she feels responsible for a man's emotional state, she cannot feel safe with him. But a grounded man, slow-paced, steady, consistent, is different. His presence is unhurried. His decisions come from clarity, not chaos. His emotions move like a river, not a storm. He knows when to speak and when to remain silent. His energy doesn't spike when she gets emotional. It remains centered. And that centeredness is what her body memorizes. A woman might be attracted to many men, but she only trusts the one whose emotional presence is reliable. That trust wasn't built from romance or compliments or chemistry. It comes from the tiny moments: how you breathe when she's upset, how you speak when she's uncertain, how you stay steady even when she feels overwhelmed. These moments tell her the truth about you, not the truth you speak, but the truth you embody. This is the part most men never understand. A woman chooses the man who regulates her nervous system, not through force, not through dominance, but through grounded energy that says, I am safe within myself and you can feel safe near me. When she senses this, her entire demeanor changes. Her voice softens, her tension fades. Her emotional storms become lighter because she knows she is not weathering them alone. She stops testing as often because your stability answers every test without words. The better men outside the ones with status, money, looks may offer excitement, but they don't offer safety. And excitement fades when safety is missing. She's not choosing power. She's choosing peace. And peace, in a masculine form, is extremely rare. This is why boundaries matter, why clarity matters, why predictable calmness is the most irresistible masculine quality in existence. When a woman senses that your inner world is stable, independent of hers, she understands something profound. Loving you won't cost her peace. Following you won't cost her identity. Being with you won't cost her safety. And once she feels that, she stops comparing you to other men, because in her heart, she already knows. He is the man I can finally breathe with. That is why she chooses you. Not because you are the loudest or the biggest or the most impressive, but because your energy feels like home, steady, grounded, predictable in all the right ways. There is a level of attraction most men will never experience. It's not physical. It's not emotional. It's not psychological. It's spiritual. It's the moment a woman looks at you and feels something she can't name, a pull that isn't based on logic or desire, but alignment, the kind of connection that makes her feel like she's known you long before she met you, the kind that bypasses her mind and speaks straight to the quiet place inside her. This happens rarely. And it only happens with men who have done the inner work, because spiritual attraction isn't about having more, it's about needing less. A woman becomes spiritually drawn to the man who already feels whole within himself, the man whose identity isn't shaped by her attention, whose emotions aren't controlled by her reactions, whose life doesn't stop when she enters it. He doesn't search for completion in her. He recognizes connection with her, and that distinction changes everything. She can sense when a man is lonely beneath his confidence. When he needs her to fill voids he refuses to face. When his masculinity is simply armor covering insecurity, a woman instinctively pulls away from that. Not because she wants to hurt him, but because nature doesn't allow her to merge with a man who isn't anchored within himself, but the man who is whole, the man who carries a steady soul, the man who lives from purpose, not pain. She feels him before he speaks. His presence doesn't demand. It invites. His energy doesn't cling. It expands. His love doesn't consume. It clarifies. That's why spiritual attraction feels different. Instead of rushing in, she slows down. Instead of playing games, she becomes honest. Instead of guarding herself, she opens in a way she rarely has, because she realizes this connection isn't built on pleasure or validation or emotional shows. It's built on recognition, the same recognition she cannot manufacture with anyone else. A spiritually grounded man changes the entire space he walks into. He doesn't overpower. He aligns. He doesn't chase her heart. He awakens it. He doesn't react to her emotions. He steadies them. Women talk about the one that got away. But the truth is, the one that stays in her memory forever is the man whose energy felt like truth, the man whose presence felt like something ancient inside her, finally exhaled. This is why spiritual attraction is so rare. It requires a man who has become emotionally complete on his own. When she meets a man like this, she isn't choosing him out of desire, she's choosing him out of instinct. Something deep inside her whispers, "This is a man I can follow. A man I can trust. A man who doesn't lose himself when he loves." And here lies the irony. She isn't drawn to him because he needs her. She's drawn to him because he doesn't. His strength doesn't intimidate her, it stabilizes her. His boundaries don't push her away, they protect her. His discipline doesn't make him cold, it makes him reliable. To a woman, that's not just attractive, it's sacred. Because spiritual attraction is the moment when her soul chooses before her mind can explain why. It's not chemistry. It's not compatibility. It's connection. And the man who reaches this level never has to ask why she picked him. He knows she chooses the man who is already whole. She commits to the man who doesn't need commitment to feel worthy. She bonds with the man whose energy feels like home. That is the final evolution of attraction. Not excitement, not desire, not validation, but recognition, the kind that cannot be replaced, duplicated, or forgotten. At the end of everything, after the tension, the mystery, the attraction, the tests, only one truth remains. She doesn't choose you because of what you say. She doesn't choose you because of what you own. She chooses you because of who you've become when no one's watching. A man whose peace cannot be shaken. A man whose direction cannot be bent. A man whose worth is not determined by anyone's approval. That is the man her instincts trust. That is the man her emotions surrender to. That is the man her soul recognizes. And here's the part most men never understand. She doesn't fall for your performance, she falls for your presence. Not the mask, not the ego, not the persona, but the quiet, grounded strength underneath it all. Because in a world full of men trying to be seen, the man who is whole is the one she cannot forget. So, if you take anything from this video, take this: master yourself, control your emotions, build your peace, sharpen your standards, stand firm in who you are. When you do that, you never have to convince her to choose you. Her soul will do the choosing for her. And now, brother, if you're tired of being the version of yourself that reacts instead of leads, if you're ready to stop chasing and start becoming the man women naturally gravitate toward, if you want to rise into the kind of masculine presence that commands respect, then don't just watch these videos, join the movement. Hit like, leave your mark in the comments, subscribe if you're ready to evolve. Because every action you take here strengthens the brotherhood and brings these messages to the men who need them most. And remember, you don't win her through effort. You win her through energy. Become the man who stands still, and she will choose you every time.